Hello, everybody. I am Jarrett Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and welcome to another GeneaVlogger live stream. Today's stream, I'm going to be building my own family tree, but focusing on expanding my Sephardic Jewish family tree. So I see there's already a whole lot of people here. Unfortunately, I'm getting those connection is unstable with my Wi-Fi for some reason right now. So hopefully that doesn't stay an issue. But let's do our typical of going through and saying hello to everybody. So before, right when everything started, Deb's here ready and waiting. So thank you very much for waiting. I actually saw there were a few more people than usual in the beginning, so I started a little earlier. I was planning to start at 3. We're starting a couple minutes early. It doesn't matter. We've got Tasha coming in from Minnesota. We have Drea here, a familiar name here. Oh, yay. Very interested to learn more about this topic. Just Rosie 5 sounds interesting. When's it start? Right now. We have Kino. Hello, been following you for a while. Keep up the great work and love the videos. Thank you very much. I do see you ask, will you make family trees for other YouTubers? So not only will I be making family tree videos for other YouTubers, so not these live streams, but my YouTuber family tree series. So for anyone who's not familiar, I have a series on my main channel, GeneaVlogger on YouTube, where I trace the family trees of other YouTubers who I've spoken to and have agreed to do, be a guest on that series. And I build their family tree and tell the stories of their ancestry. And I have a whole bunch of YouTubers that I've done only one episode on right now, because originally I was doing full seasons on a single YouTuber. But the YouTubers who I've already done a single episode on, and even the ones that I've done full seasons on, I'm planning to do more episodes on all of them. And then I also have a list of more YouTubers who I will be getting to. So probably like 3 or 4 that I haven't even made videos on yet that I've been researching. One who just agreed, who I guess I probably shouldn't announce anything just yet, but her tree will be very interesting to build. So continuing on, we have Kim coming in from Washington State. Welcome. Oh, and Kino, you're coming in from Bosnia. Very cool. Having someone from the Balkans coming in. All right. We have Peggy coming in from Wisconsin. Didn't even see your face. Oh, yeah. I have my little face popping up in the beginning. Kim asked, how about trees as subscribers? It's certainly a possibility in the future. Part of it is right now I'm trying to build everything, and I do also need to have people that draw. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I say that as I do one on my own, but today's one, actually, I'll get to in a bit, was actually chosen by the Discord community. So I'm going to show that. But Stig, hello from Oslo. Debs, yes, you were coming in real early. Hello, Irene from North Carolina. Thank you for joining. We have Karma coming in from Nebraska. Sajuka coming in from Ukraine. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Magical snowy evening in the suburbs of Kyiv. Karma just in time. Then we have Imelda saying hello, and then Fee. I'm not sure what you're saying, but welcome to the stream. Carol coming in. Hello. We have Next Lifetime Brendan. Hi from New Jersey. And then we have Eileen. Hi from Florida. Simply Smarter Shopping. TJ from California. Hello. Old Cinderella Story coming in from Germany. Crafty Mutant coming in from France. And then my cousin, Catherine Michael, coming in from the UK. Catherine is actually related to me through my Dutch Ashkenazi lines, so we won't be looking into those really today, but very, very, it's living in Amsterdam all near each other. So let's open this up now. So I think I've done so many videos on my family tree at this point that many people watching are likely already slightly familiar with my ancestry. And so here's my family tree going out to all of my great-grandparents. But then the line we're going to focus on today is my Nunes Vas line. So that's this line up here. And it's actually the main thing we're going to focus on are one of these lines. Now, I guess I'll still have that included, but we're going to do a poll in YouTube. So for those who aren't watching through YouTube, because I do see we have a few watching through Facebook and a few through Twitch. If you go onto YouTube, we will be doing a poll there. Let's see if I can get it going. And basically what we're going to decide is, are we going to research the Nunes Vas line, the Lopez Diaz line, the Robles line, or the Enriquez Pimentel line? So I'm going to make a poll about that. All right, let's see. Something's going on. There we go. YouTube was glitching out for some reason. All right, so which line should we expand? Vas, Lopez, Diaz, Enriquez Pimentel. Okay, so we've got the poll going now. And actually, while that poll is going, that's a perfect time for me to talk about how we got to be doing my own family tree, and that's through the Discord. So I know this isn't exactly going to be the easiest to see, so hopefully that's a bit better. But I have a Discord channel where we have a very active channel, or a very active server, I guess is the proper terminology. A lot of people on there. And today I wasn't quite sure what to do. I'd been trying to think of something other than family tree building, because I've already done the ranking the genealogy websites. I did the geography quizzes. So I gave a few different options and had the Discord community vote on it. So they also voted last week to choose Britney Spears to be the focus of the family tree. So I'm going to be doing polls through different communities, because I also have Patreon. I also have my YouTube members, and then there's also Reddit, although I don't know if I'll do Reddit. Reddit might be a weird one to do. I guess we could probably do it in some way. But just a good shout out for that, and I highly suggest joining the Discord. I don't know if I have any of my... I don't see any of my mods in right now. But if any of the Discord people are on and want to share the Discord join link, once I see that, I'll share that on screen. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, I already have this is the website for the Amsterdam Archives, the Gemeente Amsterdam Stadsarchief, the archive.amsterdam. And this is probably where we're going to be doing a lot of our research through. So I just had it pulled up already. So let's see, where's the poll at right now? Yeah, Nunes Vas is winning, which I'm not surprised. And, I'm happy to keep going on it. But that's like, of all the lines in my family tree, it's the one I've probably built out the most. And I'll talk more about whichever line we go into. So we've got 22 votes. It's only been 2 minutes, so I'll let it go a bit more, because I see we have over 40 people watching just on YouTube right now. And again, for the few I see on Facebook and Twitch, definitely hop on over to YouTube to put in your vote. But if you prefer to watch elsewhere, so let's see. Isaiah Blackwell asks, I'm currently working on Leonardo DiCaprio tree coming across Italian, German, and Russian descent. Do you have any tips on genealogy resources for foreign records? Yeah, one of the best places to just look generally is going to the Family Search Wiki. And I think I talk about the Family Search Wiki a lot in here. But it's just one of the best places to go if you're just looking at foreign stuff, because it's a great area where a lot of people will put a lot of information about what records are available, how to get them, where to find them. All right, let's see. Let's say, okay, what was one of the ones you said? Italian. Let's look at Italian then. Italy, of course. So let's just say Calabria. So it gives you just kind of some information about what there is. And sometimes you don't get a lot. Sometimes you do get a good amount. But there's always the Italy Online Genealogy Records. And then something I don't always talk about, because I don't utilize it a ton myself, but for those who are pretty active on Family Search, they do have these research groups where you can kind of ask different things, and basically kind of utilize the general family search people. But the wiki is just a general good place. But then going beyond that, it's looking up guides about the specific areas. So like, when you say Italy or Germany or Russia, that does cover a specific area that we think of today. But historically, you have to think of what it was back then, or what it actually meant wherever they were living. So a lot of people will think of the countries today, but often if you think of it more in the specific town or locality, that can be helpful. So like you say Russia, but it could be Russia that is now somewhere in Lithuania or Ukraine or Poland or something else like that. So you need to figure that out, because then that can change the access that you may have to those records. So like Ukraine right now is going through what I like to call a digitization revolution, where they're digitizing tons and tons. All right, looks like no matter what, we're doing Nunes Vas. We're doing Nunes Vas. So 5 minutes, we're going to end that poll. So Nunes Vas won 33%. Gosh, I wish it let me. Is there a way to show the poll on the screen? No, there isn't. Although hopefully, I think it comes up for those watching in YouTube. I think it comes up in the chat there. But yeah. So okay. So we are going to focus on the Nunes Vas line, and this is a line that I have built out quite extensively. So right now, the family tree traces back furthest to Abraham Nunes Vas. There's other people that have put stuff in the tree, and it's wrong. It's wrong. It's just, these are hints that have no basis in any actual documentation that makes sense. And I've looked into them, and it's very much just people making weird conclusions that either they didn't prove or yeah. One of the issues with Ancestry is these hints that you can't really let's see, review details. Do you think this is the mother? No. Ignore this. I guess you could do that. Yeah, we'll do that here too. But in fact, I've, through my research, I have some very strong hypotheses about this stuff. And I even have a hypothesis family tree for the Nunes Vas family. So the Nunes Vas family traces to Abraham Nunes Vas, who was born in about 1670 in Livorno, Italy. Now, technically, we don't have any records on Abraham himself. The records that we have are on Jacob, which is funny because this image right here, let's see, is this the original one that I uploaded? No, this is an image that I uploaded to Genea.com. Let's see if we can find that. And actually, this user G Coven is a cousin of mine from the Nunes Vas line. But it's one of the funny things that happens with a lot of things that people put up back in the day is those images get propagated everywhere. So that record, I don't even remember where I thought I uploaded it here, but it's not here. So I don't know, but I know I uploaded that because that's an image. I have that's a printout that I have of the bevolking register, the marriage bond, which this is a snapshot image of it. And what we'll do is we'll actually just pull it up here. And I'll show you how easy of a website this is. Now, with Amsterdam Archives, you get the inventories, the index, the photo bank, and then Transcribus, which for those who are familiar with Transcribus, that is a optical character recognition software. So basically software that reads documents and then creates computer readable text. And what Amsterdam Archives has done is they've utilized it to get into their own database. So I've actually gone in and looked at results here, and this is the kind of stuff that usually is in the inventory. So the inventories are records where you have to go page by page. Whereas here, so they're giving you the results here, and it's, gosh, my internet, yeah, it's going slow right now. But all of these are just kind of, they're close. There's no Nunes Vas together, but there's, Nunes or Jacob or things like that. So these are, like here we have the Vas Nunes family, which we know through DNA testing and through paper trail research, they are a different family. So there is, a lot of not errors, but it has a way to get better, I guess. But what we're looking for is going to be in the indexes. That's stuff that's already indexed. And this is what we're looking at. So this is a marriage bond, what's known as this is part of the Bevolking Register, or I guess it'd be a register, the Dutch accent. But this is a document that is put up to announce that a marriage is going to happen. And it's basically saying that, these two are going to get married. It has to be up, I think, for a certain amount of time. Can't be up for more than a year. And so there's 3 to a page. And these are civil registers. So this is, well, I guess not necessarily civil registers, but this is done by the Amsterdam government. So this has all sorts of people in it. So here we can actually see, so basically, it's, Jacob Nunes Vas from Livorno, 26 years of the Jewish, in the Jewish green market, which is where he lived. Outdoors. And then basically witnessed by his niece. And this is interesting because nicht, this word right here, that stands for niece, but it could also mean cousin, because in Dutch they have nicht and neef. Nicht meaning niece or cousin, neef meaning nephew or male cousin. So female and male, obviously. So by his niece or cousin, Sarah Ribeiro, which this is a big part of the research and figuring stuff out further, and Judith Valk. So this is the wife from Amsterdam. So that AM, that means Amsterdam, 20 years old. Worth all Vornen, I forgot exactly what that means. Witnessed by her father, Abraham Valk. So they were also known as Van der Valk, which in Portuguese, they also went by I think it's Falseo, or is it may be Falcao, but for those who know Portuguese, read it. Let me take a look. I haven't checked chat in a minute. Yeah. Oh, I see. Anna said, I wish you did private consulting. So I actually do have private consulting available through my Patreon. Basically, you get access to a one-on-one session with me for every month that you're a Patreon member of a certain tier. And you also get access to other stuff. And I already have a few people who are doing that. I've been looking at doing a way to be able to set one-on-ones up outside of my Patreon as well, especially because that'd be great instead of having to pay Patreon a cut of everything. But so it is available. Hopefully I'll have a better way to access one-on-one consultations with me. So it is available. Just check out my Patreon, which let's see, put it in chat. So, all right. Ironically, Sardancles late again. I was really trying this time. Well, you made it in time. Luke, glad to see you're still pursuing your passion from Muskegon, Minnesota. Dude, Luke, I was thinking about you the other day. I still have your fishing poles, dude. Next time you're in town, let me know. I know the last time you came in town, I think I was actually on a trip myself. But let me know. Maybe you'll get your fishing poles back if you see me. So awesome to see you on the stream. Thanks for jumping in. Leia Newbie waves hello. Thank you for jumping in. Hello. And of course, I have my cousin Cora. Hi from Mokum, from Amsterdam. I actually just got to meet Cora recently when I went to Amsterdam this past summer, and it was amazing. So. Thank you, Luke. Thank you. Alexandra, hello, everybody. Alexandra coming in from Germany. Great to see you. So let's keep continuing. So talking about that stuff, let's actually work on expanding the tree, I guess. So I'm going to need to redo the view to focus up here. Now with this stuff, so right now we only know of one descendant who actually had or one child of Jacob and Judith who had children. And this is, all of the Dutch Nunes Vas line come from Raphael Jacob Nunes Vas and Simcha Jacob Querido. And then the rest of them descend from either Jacob Nunes Vas or Abraham Nunes Vas, named Abraham Chaim Nunes Vas because he was the second. So there was a first Abraham here who I'll need to actually, he really shouldn't be Chaim. So one thing we can actually look at is the Beth Chaim records. So Beth Chaim Cemetery is the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam's burial place. It is in Ouderkerk aan de Amstel, near the Amstel River. This is where my cousin Cora, who just hopped on stream, this is where we met. I met her along with her siblings and another Nunes Vas cousin, and we toured the cemetery and went to where many of our ancestors were buried, or at least went to as close as we could get. But there is this register of the burial cards for the community. And so we are going to look up Nunes Vas. And so none of these are the ones we want. Because what we want is, all right, let's see, 1769. I don't know if we had one for Raphael. Yeah, we do. Okay. And you all can't see that. Is there a way to make that so you all can see that? I'm just going to have to share it in a different way, aren't I? Maybe I can do this. There we go. So here's the burial card. So we can see Abraham here, but then this Abraham Chaim, H-M. And Chaim means life, and they would use this terminology to mean the second child with that same name. So named Abraham Chaim because there was a previous Abraham born in 1763 who died in 1769. We see this Abraham was born 23rd of December, 1769. So I'll have to try to see if I can find a death record for him, but I'm pretty confident I have no Beth Chaim burial card for that Abraham, at least none that I've found. So they don't always go by the Z. They sometimes use the S or Z for those. Let's see, 1769. Okay, yeah, okay. This website used to be a lot better, and the people that ran it unfortunately kind of retired and didn't want to really pass it along to certain organizations that could have kept it up, and they kind of put it in this place where it's still accessible, but it's not quite the website it used to be. And just sad. It's just sad. Oh. So, all right. Well, I'm not going to worry too much about trying to bring it up. Because most likely if they did have the burial card, it would have been listed here. And let's see if we can find it down here. You're not sure. But basically, so these cards are interesting because these cards were created by the workers at the cemetery to going through the archives, which we're actually going to get further into. So we were talking about the inventories, and the main inventory we use for the Sephardic Jewish community is inventory 334. Now, for anyone who is a non-Dutch speaker, it's very easy to translate. And so you can go through it quite easily. But one of the beautiful things is they just have a lot of great records. And going in here, can you tell that I know exactly where I'm going? So here we have the main genealogy related records for the community. So for someone who is researching the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam, if you're looking for records, and even more specifically, records from before the year 1811, this is where you want to look. Now, some of you may be asking, well, what's up with 1811? Well, what was going on at the time? Well, Napoleon was doing a little thing around Europe and kind of took over the Netherlands. And along with his takeover, one of the things that Napoleon did was he enacted civil registry wherever he went. And 1811 is when the civil registry officially happened in the Netherlands. And so with a lot of the communities, what they end up doing is, instead of keeping the track of the things the way they used to, they start doing it in a new way because of the way they have to now register with the government. And so you start in 1811 finding actual civil register, births, marriages, deaths, baptisms, although technically for the Jews it was still circumcisions, they just called them baptisms. And so just kind of like an interesting little side of history, which, interestingly enough, the Jews were kind of, they already liked the House of Orange because, they had been living quite freely in the Netherlands. It wasn't 100% free. Jews in the Netherlands weren't allowed to join guilds, and they were barred from, certain other occupations and things. And, they weren't, it wasn't like completely free, but they were, compared to most of the rest of the world, quite autonomous. So, oh wow, a lot of stuff. So the Jews were very happy with the House of Orange, and when Napoleon took over, he had the whole freedom of religion thing, and so a lot of Jews around the, this is kind of an oversimplification, but there were a lot of Jews who liked Napoleon because he brought, gosh, why can't I think of the term? Oh, I can't think of the term. There's a specific term, emancipation. Emancipation. Is that? Yeah. Okay. So in the Netherlands, they did really love him. And there's actually, let's see if I can find it. There's a famous image of his brother, Ludwig Bonaparte, going through Amsterdam and passing by the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam synagogue known as Esnoga, and the Ashkenazi communities. Here we go. Is that going to be good enough? Let's see. Open image, new tab. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, they're so terrible. Sorry, I'm trying to find one that's not like small and behind a paywall. All right, this is good enough. So this right here, this is the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam synagogue Esnoga. So there's the outer wall part and then the inner part. And I was there recently. Right now I'm writing my script about the trip that I took in Europe, and I'm going to include some clips of myself walking around there. I met up with so many of my Nunes Vas cousins and some of my Moscow cousins and some of my other cousins. And it was amazing. But then over here, this is the Dutch Jewish community, or the Ashkenazi Jewish community synagogue. And then this is Napoleon marching along and everyone kind of cheering. And one of the things that I always love to think about is just like the idea that, over here you see all of these people standing on the roof and stuff. And I just wonder, were there really people standing there when that was happening? And if so, was it my relatives? Are these technically depictions of my relatives watching Ludwig Bonaparte, going through, or Ludwig Napoleon? So yeah. All right. Lots and lots of fun history stuff. Yeah, Cora. It's good to know that the Bethlehem base accepts only one name, Nunes, not Nunes Vas. Yeah, it does it by dual names, which with the Sephardic Jewish communities, as you can tell, it's dual names. So the way that it works is they have two naming spots: first family name and second family name. So if someone has that family name, so like here, Navarro Diaz, Judith, she never married. So Navarro Diaz was her birth name, and so they go in spot one, spot two. But then let's say maybe she married. So here there's a Mazel Tov, Nar, and then married name Granada Alperon. So when we pull that up, this is what it looks like, and we see Gemet, which means Gehewelich. If I hope that I pronounced that right, married with David Van Isaac, David the son of Isaac. So she was born Nar and then married Alperon. And then we can see down here Father Abraham Granada and more information about different thing. Yeah. Oh wait, no, is it? Okay. And then the other thing that it can be is sometimes you have people with aliases. So like here, we have this Abraham Raphael. And you have to remember that these Jews are coming from Portugal and Spain as conversos. So Abraham Raphael Nahamias, alias Cardozo. So that was his alias. And he was born 1584. So he was born likely in Portugal or at least elsewhere. So C. Brugman. So all of these here, these are notations. So let's actually look this up. On the trial register, 10th of March, 1607. So that's the marriage bond that we were looking at earlier. So let's take a quick look at that. So we're looking up Abraham Nahamias. Now, who did he marry 1607? Katharina Mendez. So let's look up her first. And we don't see them. Okay. Clicked the wrong thing. All right, let's okay, let's try Cardozo. Alfonso Cardozo. All right. March 10th, 1607. Katharina Mendez, Nahamias. There's a billion ways to spell that because. All right. So we want. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. March 9th, March 11th. And it's March 10th. What is it? Abraham Raphael. Katharina born 1583. Huh. Why am I not finding this on the Trow? Okay. Okay. How do I want to do it? I think that might be it. There we go. There we go. Took a second. So what's the name that he's going by? Rafael Cardozo Nemios. Woo, see, sometimes you just got to stick with it. And these are the early ones, 1600s, and yeah, not the easiest ones to read. So, was that it though? Is it this first one, Samuel? No. Here we go. Here we go. So they both knew how to write, both Raphael and Katharina. 1607, both know how to write. So these are their signatures. And so this is the Anatrau, and he's from Lisbon. That I'm pretty sure that's Lisbon. So he was born in Lisbon, Portugal. So, all right. Now, of course, absolutely none of this is expanding my family tree. But we're getting into all of this stuff that we want to look into. So right now, expanding the family tree, we want to confirm with Abraham that he's a 1609 death. Or 1679. So we're going to look in the deaths. And okay, so it's going to be somewhere in here. So let's see. 1761. 1763. 1779. We went too far. Okay, we're at the end of 1769. Now, if you notice, there's these two numbers, 5529, 1769. 5529 is the Hebrew year, 1769 is the Gregorian year. Okay, so we're going to want to go to the beginning of 1769. It's going to be somewhere around here. All right, so I guess it starts here. So now we just need to go through and try to see if we can find Nunes Vas. And this is, I should also say, this is the kind of practice a lot of people should do on their trees when they, as they go through stuff, is just, we already have Abraham in here. We're just looking to really, for one, confirm the death and then also confirm when he actually died. But based on, the family naming and everything, it's pretty likely that, he at least died. It may not be 1769 specifically. All right. I did not see Nunes Vas anywhere. And I've gotten to the point where it like pops out to me. It's like I just recognize it. Like it'd be like whoop, as soon as it comes up. So Nunes Ribeiro, a different family. And for those who read Portuguese, you're probably looking at this going, isn't that just straight up Portuguese? And you'd be correct. This is not Ladino. Let me repeat, not Ladino. Ladino is the Eastern Sephardim. All right. So I am not seeing. No, it's also possible. This is the burial register. So it's also possible that he may just not have been buried. And then it's also possible that the year may be off. So here, GeneaNet says 1768. So let's take a look again. All right, let's see, what was it, like 64? Yeah. So 1769, 1768, and 1769. So we'll go through 1768. Let's see. Find Nunes Vas. Aha! So now, de Rafael Nunes Vas. So the son, but I don't know exactly what that says, but something from Rafael Nunes Vas, 1768. This is 25th of, let's see, can I tell where it is? Same day. All right, let's see, 26, 28. Oh, that's okay. So Hevan. So let's do HeebCal. So one of my favorite sites, beautiful HeebCal converter. So let's see, what day is that? 25. And is it? Let's see. No. Soviet. So is it? I think it's Tibet. I don't know. See, I'm not the best with my. All right, let me check. Wow, there was a lot of chats. Why is it's glitching out on me for a second? Okay. Huh. What just happened? The welcome to the stream just came on. I have no idea. I hope. I don't know how that would have turned on. Let's see. Is the red line on the far left? You can bring it forward to the right. It's fine for me. Okay. Yeah, I must have been asking about something at that point. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think you're responding to Karma. Oh, great. We have Gazillion here, who I know reads Portuguese. So yeah, Gazillion, if you recognize that Hua Kriat, one creature, I mean, that's my guess, because presumably this is Abraham, who'd be 5 years old. So like right below here, I see that there's another one that looks very similar, but like written slightly different. The other thing to remember, I see this dash with the A up there, and that's always an abbreviation. So like with Amsterdam, they'll do a big A with an M right there. So I don't know. Oh, you are Portuguese. Oh, you don't know the context. Okay, so the context is that we're researching this Abraham Nunes Vas, who presumably died 1769. So we're looking through the death records of the Jewish community, and we found this death record, 1768, which may be correct for the date. We're not sure, but yeah, they did a lot of abbreviations. Yeah. Well, I will say, these records have different scribes, I guess you could say. Well, there's specific words for them, and I don't remember. But yeah, some of them write crazy. Like one of the under trials we looked at earlier, I don't have it pulled up still. That was absolutely nuts. But this would presumably be that child, unless, yeah, I mean, it's either Abraham, Aaron, probably not Moses. Hum morto. Yeah, but like here it says hum philo, right? So it's like, I know I butchered the pronunciation. So there's got to be a meaning to it. So this is, this is something I'm going to need to look into, because I know some people that should know it specifically. And then here, Hamovito. So, we know that this is whatchamacallit, stillborn. Well, that's okay. Yeah, maybe a stillborn. Yeah, but that's why I'm thinking, like, why the different terminology here when we already see. And then you also mentioned hua. So that's feminine, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see you did post that earlier. So then it wouldn't really be Abraham, it'd be some other possibly unknown. Creatura stillborn. That's probably what it is. What, like here, 2nd of September, yeah. So it seems like this could be a daughter that they didn't even, let's get back the, no, that's not it. All right, so like here, there's a Moshe born 13 January 1768, according to what they have. So, yeah. Okay. In the house. And interesting. So, all right. So then, if that's the case, all right, 64. Open it back there. Oh, Instagram website doesn't really let you browse very easily. So this is the documents that we're looking in. Journals of burials kept in the synagogue, which, turning off our English translation, what it actually says, Journal van begraven in de synagogue begehouden. Yeah, speculating, familiar with Portuguese Catholic records. Yeah, from when I've worked with Portuguese translators, the thing that I'm always told is, number one is, wow, this is some real archaic form of Portuguese. So they always recognize most of it, but there's a lot of it that they're like, this is not how it's done now. But I think part of it is, for one, it's Old Portuguese. So most of them, I think the last ones leaving in Portugal probably, I mean, it really started to slow down in the 1700s. And I don't know how much migration you still had from, people that were still conversos coming from Portugal, but then they kind of, they kept Portuguese in their own community. So it kind of grew in their own sort of way. So like all of these records are, or not all, the records in this entire inventory, I'd say maybe 85% are in Portuguese, 10% are in Dutch, 3 or 4% are in Hebrew, and then 1% is other. Because there is some stuff that is like let's see, one of my favorite record sets, the attestations. If I can find them, it's been a while since I've looked in those. Oh yeah, I think they were in here. No, not here. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna. So, and notice how the titles, they have it in what seems to be Portuguese. But I'm looking for, so there's this record set that's one of my favorite record sets, but I haven't looked in it in a while because there's not a ton of documents in it. But it's called the attestations, and basically what it is when people would join the community, they'd have to prove that they were actually Sephardic Jews. Like, you couldn't be an Ashkenazi Jew and join the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam. And so they would have letters sent in that were people attesting to them being Jewish. And those letters came from all over the world. And I thought they were over here. I don't remember the exact way it's spelled. Okay. We won't worry about that. But all right, so let's actually do some expanding. Yeah, it's quite straightforward for someone familiar with the history of Portuguese language. The problem is abbreviations if you're not familiar with the subject. Yeah, and there's a lot of abbreviations for them. I mean, for one, the common one is to write KK next to each other, standing for Kahal Kados, or TT, standing for Talmud Torah. So just as an example, here's the cover of the Escamot book, Livro dos Acordes de Nassau, I think, is that? Because the nation. Escamot and do Kahal Kados from Talmud Torah. KLDO something. So this is interesting. This is the decisions of the Muhammad. So here's an index to everything, and this is actually we went into this book a little bit before on another stream, because this is the book that has the Baruch Spinoza harem in it. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Again. Is that wonderful? Okay. Okay. There we go. So this is the harem against Baruch Spinoza. TT may also be Testament. Yeah, no, not here. It's definitely Talmud Torah. Like that is 100% definitely Talmud Torah. Yeah, they never use TT. Like TT always stands for Talmud Torah with this community. So they do use whatever the word is for circumcision. So, but this, I will say, the handwriting on this one is definitely one of the better. And then actually, just kind of to pull up something for fun. When I was in, when I visited Beth Hayim with my cousins in the summer last year, we also went to the grave of his father, Michael. So, first a photo of the grave. So this is the father of Baruch Spinoza. That was his grave, and then here's his burial card, giving the information. And I don't know if it even mentioned. I think they don't even mention Baruch. Oh, yeah, no, they do. Okay, so these are the three wives, and then you can see the children, Baruch, Miriam, and Gabriel. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Okay, so what I think I want to do, because with this generation up here, this is the one that has the most question marks, but we have found a lot. And down here, see what I've done is I've expanded like everything. Like my goal has been to find every single descendant. And for those who are unfamiliar, I'm going to share the actually, you know what? I could share it the best way possible through my Canva, because that's where I can really look at it in depth for the most part. Okay. So wait, I have no idea how that probably looked for you all. So this is the entire Nunes Vas family tree. Now it's gotten bigger. So this was 3rd of October. We had 4,600 members. And the way that we always tell is going to Abraham Nunes Vas, who's the oldest, and then looking at how many descendants we have in Genea, because Genea's kind of been the place where I've kept track of everybody. So when the statistics pop up down here, we can see now it's up to descendants 4,649. So we've added about 49 more descendants since the 3rd of October. So you can see how it's a constant expansion. And so all the way up here, that's Abraham Nunes Vas. And then this dot right here, that's Jacob. Now this dot here is actually, I had something I edited out, and it had to do with that Sarah Ribeiro, who was on the Onda Trow. I'm not going to try to pull it up right now, but for those who remember the marriage bond we had pulled up earlier, there was a Sarah Ribeiro, and so based on that, I tried to create. Actually, here we go. Here it is. So this is what that represents. That question mark Ribeiro, because we were assuming, okay, maybe she is an actual niece. So yeah, I guess I did leave that in there. So there's the image here. So Jacob Nunes Vas from Livorno, we did the whole thing, but witnessed by his niece, Sarah Ribeiro. And then he married Judith Falls. So that's what that represents. So that's kind of, but we don't want to do that. But that dot there, that's Jacob Nunes Vas, and then these are all of his children. And then from there, all of the further children, which really those are all the children of Raphael coming out there. And then that's where we get this larger expansive tree that breaks down into two main categories. There's the descendants of Jacob Nunes Vas and Simcha Senior Coronel. And then there's the descendants of Abraham Nunes Vas and Yael Senior Coronel. And Yael was a sister to Simcha, and Jacob was a brother to Abraham. So looking in here, we can see them right there. So all of these cousins are double cousins to each other. So in the Nunes Vas family, all of the Dutch Nunes Vas descendants are double cousins to each other. And so you can kind of see where I'm like, I guess I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble, like, okay, well, where am I going to try to expand this? Because then each dot here, now these are the further descendants. So it's broken down further. So the descendants of Abraham Nunes Vas and Yael Senior Coronel, they had far fewer descendants, and a lot of whom, so like a lot of those people born here, you can see a lot of, over here, there's the years. Here's the line 1945. Well, I put that there to represent, help see how the Holocaust decimated the family. Whoops. Hopefully that didn't scare everybody. My dogs are growling. Hit the mic accidentally. But you can see how it decimated the family. So all these people born, here's 1900, 1880. I mean, you had people being born around 1880s and all that who were murdered in the Holocaust. But you really see that by all of those who were, too young to have children or hadn't had children at that point. And so that dot represents the year they were born. So like right there, these are all people being born in the 1940s, people born in the 1930s and the 1920s. And then you can see that all across the board, except mostly for this branch of the family, which is my branch of the family, which this ancestor here, this would have been Abraham Nunes Vas, my fourth great grandfather. So him right here, Abraham Nunes Vas, who married Sarah Lopez Diaz. And then when we go here, when we go down, we can see descendants of Abraham Nunes Vas, Sarah Lopez Diaz. And basically they moved from Amsterdam and went to London, and most of their descendants stayed there except for a couple, which you can see right here. And actually, for anyone who's in Amsterdam or even just the Netherlands, if you're familiar with the famous newspaper Het Parool, that was founded by, or one of the founders was Jaap Nunes Vas, who descends from Abraham Nunes Vas and Sarah Lopez Diaz. So here's a thing from the Jewish Digital Monument. So he descends through the Nunes Vas line down here. So he goes here, and then he's like one of the ones right around here. I don't remember exactly where. And then he was murdered in the Holocaust, but he was one of the people that helped found Het Parool. So you can then see for all the other families where they stayed in Amsterdam, how sparse it is compared to the others. All right, let me check chat. Got oh yeah, I need to keep track of time because I need to make sure I end not too late today. Going to get my hair cut. what little hair I have, it's more about the beard, but gotta try to stay fresh. Is any of your known genealogy actually located in Portugal, or just the community of Jews expelled? So we do have lines that do trace back to Portugal. We have processos for family lines, and for the Nunes Vas line through that Ribeiro connection. There are processos that the researcher Michael Waz helped me out in finding those. He's really amazing at that. I'm going to see if I can try to pull him up. I can't remember where I saved them. Where did I save them? But we do have a lot of different lines that trace back to all sorts of areas throughout Portugal and Spain. But the research for some of them is kind of shaky. But like probably one of the stronger ones I have that still has a little bit of questionability to it, but it's pretty strong, is my Enriquez Pimentel line. So that's actually going to be up this way. So the Enriquez Pimentel line traces up to Juan Alonso Pimentel. Oh, I don't have it in here. But Juan Alonso Pimentel, the 5th Duke of Benevente. This guy. And so the way that it's told, I'm going to have to see if I can find it. There's this carta that says that, no, it's not here. Here we go. So this is a document that is supposedly an official document of the crown saying that the line of Isaac Enriquez Pimentel, that he is a grandson of Juan Alonso Pimentel. Or wait, no. David Enriquez Pimentel is a grandson of Juan Alonso Pimentel. Now there's a one in here, but it's questionable. I don't know if that's true. We don't know exactly who the connection is between David Enriquez Pimentel and Juan Alonso, but somehow they are supposedly grandson and grandchild, which I'm just noticing that there's a why is there something? What? Okay. What the hell is this guy doing? Little view into my Wikipedianness for some of you. It's like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so this so this supposedly says, this gives the proof that we come from Juan Alonso Pimentel, and then there's 4 different pages to it. So there's like all of this other stuff with all of these different notations and stamps and seals. And then there's a list on there somewhere. I think it might be the last page here, where it basically says who's been holding on to it. Yeah. So. Okay. Let me see if I can catch up with chat. Interesting. Yeah, I recognize some of your last names. I'm Sephardic, Syrian, Lebanese, Turkish, Greek, so Eastern Sephardic. And I'm guessing you may have Mizrahi ancestry too, based on, or possibly, I don't know. You can tell me. But in both sides of my family, we have De Pisiado, like De Bejado. I have done some research, but I always hit the wall. Oh, yeah, look at that. All right. Do you have any info about the De Pisiado? Some insist it's Portuguese, Pejado, some other insist it's Italian. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you'll need to look into it. With Sephardic ancestry, it's broken into 3 waves. There's the Eastern Sephardim, which you mostly seem to descend from, who were the first to leave, some as early as the 1300s, and they mostly went to areas of the Ottoman Empire. Then around 1491, 1492, you have a bunch of Jews that leave after the fall of Granada. They go to North Africa. They're known as the North African wave. And then the third wave are those that went to Portugal to, try to live freely as Jews. Then Portugal enacted their own Inquisition. And then those are the ones that were actually lived as conversos for often at least a generation or 2, if not more. And then they had to relearn to be Jewish. And so with an Eastern, or even with these breakdowns and those communities kind of sticking within their own, it wasn't really that, how do I put it? They weren't that closed off of communities, and they actually flowed a lot together. So there were a lot of Eastern Sephardic Jews who would end up in Western Sephardic communities or elsewhere. And so it's certainly possible that you could come from one line that went from one area to another. And if it's Italian, they could have been in the Livorno community. They could have been in the community in Venice. I think there were a few other communities. Mostly, I believe, most of the Sephardic Jews in Italy, I think, were in Tuscany. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. You'll have to look into it. But, one of the things that you don't want to focus too much on, but it's still not too bad to focus on, is the surname. So, don't get too hung up in it, but definitely keep your mind open. Could be other things, but maybe it just is De Pisiado. DJ's Variety Channel, have you made any discoveries on this stream? Technically, yeah, that one record, which of course I up and left, but that death record for a possible daughter, or I guess a stillborn daughter to my ancestors, Raphael Nunes Vas, and I can't remember which, Simcha Querido, probably, yeah. Raphael Nunes Vas and Simcha Querido in 1768, it seems that they had a stillborn daughter, but I need to look further into that. Yeah, many new Christians falsified charts of nobility to disguise their status as descendants of Jews. Yeah, I mean, I don't personally know how much that actually affects the different, how that context affects different documentation, where they would lie and where they wouldn't. But yeah, I imagine there's, all sorts of ways to try to seem like an old Christian family, because new Christians did not live well. Thanks for the answer in your Wikipedia cleanup. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, for those that didn't notice, actually, Maven noticed. Yeah, my username on Wikipedia was Acid Skater. So back when I was in middle school, I was huge into skateboarding, and me and all my friends wanted to create our own skate team. So we thought Acid Skate Team sounded really cool. Little did we know that acid wasn't acid like we thought, like a vat of acid, that people would think of it. People would be like, oh, so they're just a bunch of druggies. And let's just say it took about a year or 2 from going from a 6th grader in middle school to being an 8th grader, 9th grader, to realizing, like, oh, shit, everyone thinks I'm a druggie now because of that. So I've actually, my Wikipedia goes back to like 2003-ish, something like that. So let's see. Look at my contributions. Yeah. 2006. I guess not as far as I thought. So yeah. I was a hardcore Wikipedian for a while. Yep. Pecado is definitely Portuguese, and the Italian version is quite close to the PT phonetics. Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I think I am, but I'm not 100% sure. Curious about the surnames De Paz, formerly De Paz, and Lindo, both Jamaican surnames in my family. Well, I can tell you straight up, because my Nunes Vas family was part of the Jamaican community, that there was a strong Jamaican Sephardic community, strongest mostly in Spanish Town, I think. But there were a lot of Jews there, and especially, there, even to today, there are some there. One researcher who was born and grew up in the community. Let me see if I can find a page for him. For some reason, I can't think of his name. Cohen Enriquez. That's right. He's a well-known researcher from the Portuguese Jewish community, who I've met. I can't remember if I met him once or twice, but he knows a ton about the Jewish history. And then, yeah. But yeah, so I would not be surprised if you have that connection. Let's see. Yeah, my brother-in-law from Mexico thinks his paternal ancestry were conversos from Spain just because of his name, Preciado, said to often be a Jewish name. Yeah, and the thing with those surnames is that the list of Sephardic surnames is really not like there's a list of names that were only Sephardic. It's just names that were used by Sephardic families, but were also used largely by non-Sephardic families. And I think it's like the most common Sephardic surnames. I think it's the top 100 Spanish surnames also include all of the top 100 Sephardic surnames. And then the top 100 Portuguese surnames include the top 99 Portuguese Sephardic surnames. So I don't remember exactly what it is. If you go to Sephardic Genealogy on YouTube, the YouTube channel run by David Mendoza, he has a video about Sephardic surnames that kind of goes into that and talks about how it's kind of a myth that a lot of people are like, oh, well, this surname must be Sephardic, which, there are context clues where if you're getting a Portuguese or Spanish surname and you're in a Jewish family, yeah, there's kind of a possibility you may want to lean towards that being Sephardic, but understand it may not be. Let's see. James, glad you're able to catch a stream even en route from Jakarta to London. So glad to be of entertainment for you as you're traveling the world. You're far from saying it correctly, but it's okay. Paisado, Paichado, Peixado. Okay. Yeah, see, it's funny because I mostly grew up speaking Spanish. That was my first language. Don't speak it fluently anymore. But, in Spanish, you have that, the X sometimes sounding like that H sound, like Oaxaca. Or I guess it's kind of more of an H. But yeah, just, I don't know. Yo hablo un poquito español. Have you found any descendants on this branch with illegitimate parentage? I'm not sure how illegitimacy works with Jews. I'd be interested to know how it compares to Christianity. I guess it depends on what you necessarily mean by illegitimate. Are you just like born out of wedlock, or are you talking about something else? And the way that I don't know exactly the way that it was handled. I've seen, the community was pretty good about taking care of each other. But I don't know exactly how it would go necessarily with illegitimate children. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. I do know that we have found lines of family in Amsterdam through DNA testing where we were able to prove that there was an illegitimate child, but it was kind of one of those cases of they didn't really grow up knowing they were Jewish. They just grew up, not knowing who their father was, or they grew up thinking their father was somebody else. And then Y-DNA testing proved differently. And then we were able to figure out through a lot of other DNA testing the truth. Okay. I see a lot of help for me on how to pronounce Peixado. Trying to pronounce it as best we can. So, okay. All right, so let's get back to doing some research stuff. So what I kind of wanted to do, I think I'm going to kind of override stuff. So let's build out this line, the Lopez Diaz line, because there's a lot of stuff that I have missing here. So we're going to close a lot of stuff. We're at 420. Happy 420, everybody. So Lopez Diaz. Let's actually. So interestingly enough, this line, the Lopez Diaz line, most of the Lopez Diazes that are around, which if you live in London, you probably know someone by the name of Lopez Diaz or Lopez or Diaz. A lot of them in there. And actually, one of my cousins in London was telling me that there used to be a joke in the Jewish community there because there were so many grandchildren of Solomon Lopez Diaz that there were just a bunch of people named after him because there were so many that had gone to London. And so they were like known, like they all had kind of different ways to be known. And I can't remember if he said it, that they like basically had not like, Samuel 1, Samuel 2, Samuel 3 or stuff like that. But what I'm thinking I kind of want to do is focus on getting siblings and stuff in there. So what we'll use is we'll use the Beth Chaim cards as kind of a general thing to pull up information, but then we'll dive deeper into the Amsterdam archives to that. And I'm not going to go too much longer because I don't want to. I've already been going for an hour and a half about. All right. So how do I have it? You can tell that I added this in from somebody else adding it in because I do not like having it like that. Same with these. Clean these up. I don't like doing the patronymics in there. And yes, De Crasto, not De Castro. And specifically, they actually came from us, De Crasto. And Ben there just means son of. So you can see when I was at it, the thing is over the years, I had focused most of my energy on Genie, which I still love to focus a lot of energy on. But over time, I have run into so many issues of people changing certain things that it's not necessarily things that are like, the change is wrong. It's just that changes of, being a world tree, everyone has different preferences of how to do stuff. And so there's different best practices. And so for some best practices, I'm not the biggest fan of it. And I realized after a little while that as much as I love Genie, I really need to focus a lot on expanding and getting my own personal tree up to snuff. So most of that had been building out my Ashkenazi stuff. And then for the Sephardi stuff, I've started to get a bit better at it. Now with the Genie tree, I am a curator, so I have been able to lock a lot of stuff and get stuff that, is correct, that had incorrect information kind of corrected. And yeah. So, okay, actually, let's trace up So we're going to trace up the lines because I know these go up further and we can see here where it's going up to. So Leah Solomon de Lima. So we're going to start with L. Look for Leah, and then we know, we don't know when she passed away, but we know Solomon. Okay. And Lima. Let's see. Let's just do Lima. Leah David. Now, it's possible that she didn't die in Amsterdam or wasn't buried, but aha, we do have somebody's added it already. So Nahamias de Crasto, or not Nahamias de Crasto, Brother David, Father Salomo. So we're going to go ahead and add that in. So they must have indexed this wrong. Actually, it's probably under. There we go. That's what we were looking for. Just to make sure. Just to make sure. Yeah. We don't have any other information on him yet, but we know she has a brother David, born 1736. Now, begraven, that's when she was buried, not actually when she died. So 16th of August, 1795. So we know August 1795. They were usually buried within 2 or 3 days of when they died. But we're not going to quite be able to know exactly. So now we're going to look up Slow-Mo. And what we should hopefully find is under his Leah listed as a daughter. So we're going to do. Okay, so Slow-Mo, not coming up. So let's see what we've got here. Interesting. Yeah, know all men be there present that I, Gracia Van Joseph Belmonte, wife of Solomon de Lima, dwelling in this city of Amsterdam, and with my said husband, I've never seen this document, have made, ordained, constituted, and appointed, and by their presence do make, ordain, constitute, and appoint myself, Moses and Jacob Pereira of London Merchant, to be my true and lawful attorney. To be my true and lawful attorney, I do. Giving and by their presence granting unto them. Yeah, interest. This is cool. So we've got their signatures down there, the stamps and everything. Interesting. All right. That's a cool document. So, and then we see we've got the wife, Gracia Belmonte, who is kind of who I was going for. So let's see this. Gracia Van Joseph Belmonte. The name's actually Israel Belmonte. So boop, 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 boop. Which Gracia is it? was where Joseph wasn't it? Was it? That's right. Okay. Actually, let's. I really miss the way they used to have this site. It was so much easier to find everything you needed. All right, let's just look and see. We'll just cheat and see how they have this here. Okay. So there we go. Solomon Van David, Chemet Gracia Belmonte, Mother Simcha Enriquez Pharaoh. So let's see, 16. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Delima. Gosh, I'm like looking in all the wrong places. Did I already have that? Okay. So let's just get all this stuff added in then. Do they have it? Israel Belmonte? No, just Belmonte. Save. Born 1696. And then we're going to pull up his Undertrow to see if we can see when. And then died December. All right, we're just going to do 1760. And then when did he get married? 1728. 1728. 1728. And looks like we've got notarial records too. Ooh. Abraham Nunes Enriquez. Yeah, this is them. So now we're getting, now this is a notarial record. So this is Dutch, obviously, written by a Dutch notary. Now, what this has to do with anything, I'm not sure. But I am very curious if this has something to do with what we were looking at on the other page before that document, this thing. Let's see, when's this record from? Do we have a date? Okay, 1741. And this is 1729. So this is 12 years prior, or 1718. Wait, no, is this? What year is this? I don't know. They're listing a whole lot of stuff. But it's multiple pages. And look at that. See, now this is one of the beautiful things too. Look at the signatures. And then we jump over here and we can see, oh, look at that signature. It's the same person. Gracia Belmonte, Nicholas. So Solomon, and there's look at Solomon's beautiful signature. Solomon's beautiful signature. Yeah, so now that's this notary record. Now here's their Andetrau. So this is the marriage bond. And there we go. We got so we have 3 different signatures of theirs. So I guess the notary record, yeah, that's got to do with that must do with their all right, transport merit. All right, let's Raven Hug. So I guess they were traveling from Utrecht, maybe for the marriage, something like that. I don't know. This is it's pretty cool. So that's not anything anybody has added yet. You know, let's go ahead. I'm gonna add those in, and then even more. Look at, I mean, look at how many different notarial records in this. We can go through them and check if it's him because we have his signature. So you can see all the different ways of spelling the name. Now, was it Solomon of Samuel? Solomon of David. So this, all right, we'll have to see if this is him. So, and this is one of the ways too, where when people aren't sure, is it the same person or not? Well, look, we can tell right off the bat now, this is a different guy. We've seen 3 different signatures of his, and they all look like this. And then we look at this signature, and it is nowhere near. So, like looking specific, look at that S, and then the L, the way those are shaped, and then here, so different. How close everything is. It's all one big jumble. He has a italic to his signature, and yeah, I mean, just so many differences. So we know, okay, there's a different Solomon de Lima living in Amsterdam at this time. So whatever we find may not actually be our Solomon. So like our Solomon marries Gracia, Solomon of Samuel, Rachel's. So they're buying, so the other Solomon's getting married. But there's a lot of different notarial stuff. Now, our Solomon's born 1696, and these notarial records, yeah, I guess this may be the other one. Yeah, so there could be even more than one. There could be like 3 or 4. But we do know both of these, 1728, that's the right one. Let's see, this one is this. So this is the right one. We have the right signature. So this is all we'd have to do. And there, I mean, this is the kind of, I have not looked into the de Lima family that much, but this is the type of stuff where it's like you draw a huge story out. And this is where I'd really need help from people that speak Dutch and no touch. But this is also where transcribus and stuff can come in and be really helpful. So let me check chat. Okay. Wow, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people chatting together. Yeah, among other things, a town in Portugal famous for its Jewish community. And I would highly suggest for those who have not seen it, go to Sam Arano's channel and watch his most recent video, which actually talks about that community. Super, super interesting. This video, Sepharad Reborn. Great video. Highly recommend it. And it's about that community. All right. Let's keep this one up. We'll keep that one up. Okay. Right. Let's. Oh no! Yeah, the ads, and this one was 50 seconds long. I need to start. I need to talk to a bunch of my streaming buddies and get some advice on how to handle all that stuff because basically the way that it seems is when I turn on the monetization for the video, it has the ads going during the whatever. But I might have presets set up that I don't even realize or something. Boo. Tasha Barton. I also have Enriquez Pimentel and Lopez Diaz in my tree. My guess is we may be cousins. If those are Enriquez Pimentel and Lopez Diaz of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Obviously, there could be families with those names that are not Sephardic. But if you do come from Sephardic ancestry, or like, I know for a fact there were both Enriquez Pimentel and Lopez Diaz in the London community. And many who made their way to the U.S. So if you send anywhere from there, yeah. In Utrecht, Jews were not allowed to live or stay. Let's see. Hi, Jared. I sent you an email and messages on genie.com. We could be related. Please look at my tree when you're not streaming. Thank you. I'll see if I can keep my eye out for that stuff. I mean, I get so many emails and messages, and I mean, tons of people ask if are we related? Are we related? If you don't already have a specific, hey, this is how I think we're related, me spending hours trying to dig into a possibility, as much as I would love to have the time to be able to do that kind of stuff, I just don't. So, if you have a specific line or something, let me know. But if it's just kind of a general, hey, see if we're related, I don't often answer those ones. Let's see. GV, what strain of DNA makes all attending so crazy about family detective work? Can you expand on your question? I'm not sure what you're asking. Isn't the Belmonte side with the sketchy family history book? You should definitely look into that line more to try to confirm. Yes, so you're talking about Belmonte, the book by Richard Gathiel, which what I have traced is correct. And this book is actually fully available online. Yeah, here we go, Internet Archive. I've checked it. I mean, there's a lot of incorrect information in there. And I have in fact, let's see. I think I even have I had a project in Genie just all about identifying or sources that had known errors, and that was one of them. Let's see if I can find it. But this is the where's the title page? The Belmonte family. But no, my line for one, what we're looking into, for one, we have the signature of Gracia Belmonte. We know for a fact it is her. And then even more when we go to oh yeah, of course, it's not going to be there. So there we have Gracia, Father Joseph, and then even more. Let's go back over here to the Undertrow. And when we look at the Undertrow, we can see that her witness was her brother Jacob Belmonte. So we add Jacob in there. So let's see. So, Father Joseph, presumably. So Belmonte. And then, yeah, brother Jacob. And, all right, well, actually, let's look for Joseph then instead. So this could be him. It's Gracia. So her father's definitely dying 1700s. That can be him, is it? No, that's not the Joseph we're looking for. This is not the Joseph you are looking for. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Oh, it is Belmonte. Okay, I was like, it should be just Belmonte's. So the other thing is, I do know the family is Israel Belmonte. So this is the main ancestor of the Belmonte. Oh, of course, wrong thing I copied. And I actually visited his grave while I was there. Jacob Israel Belmonte, alias Nunes Belmonte. And so, of course, this book has... Oh, come on. I hate when books are like this. This is... Come on, Internet Archive. All right. So, yeah, the family of Jacob Belmonte in Amsterdam. 103. So it's probably like page 100 or image 120. No. 29 probably then. So this is the branch. This is the book. Talking about this guy who is an ancestor of Gracia. So let's put in the information for Gracia. Born 1700. And then we see that Nunes Enriquez family, which makes sense because which one was it? This archive, the transportation stuff. Oh, let's go back. See all the Nunes Enriquez, Belmonte. So these are all the, all the different family coming to the wedding probably. So born 1700, dies May 1762. Amsterdam. And Father Joseph Jacob Belmonte, which, all right, let's see if we can find him without cheating. So we want Joseph v. Jacob. So actually, we'll line them up. So Joseph V. Jacob, married Leah Van Abraham Nunes Enriquez, born 1649. And he is the son of Jacob, alias Diego Israel Belmonte, born 1572. Okay, no, he's not. That's not, let's see. So there's definitely more between them. Let's see. Let's look up Jacob. There's a lot of Jacobs. So this Jacob probably dies in the 1600s. And it's probably Jacob V. So there's one Jacob V. Joseph, but let's see, just Jacob. Now, do we get the mom's name too? Joseph Belmonte. All right, let's look up his undertrow. Maybe that'll give us something. So we see undertrow, 1st November, 1675. There we go. Joseph Belmonte. And then who's his? Yeah, I don't know. All right, so it doesn't give us anything much better there. All right. But we definitely know that it's him. So we'll just go ahead and add in this. Oh, God, I hate those photos. I hate those photos. Oh, 1707 is when they say he died. That is just, let's see, 13 March, overladen, not begraven, overladen. And then his father was Solomon. So let's see if they already have. No, nobody has his card in there. Let's go ahead and delete this photo while we're thinking about it, because I hate photos like this in trees. I just hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. All right, so Solomon. Let me check chat. Okay, there we go. I was like, oh, that's where I am. Oh yeah, a lot of talk about the ads. Were many of the Jewish records destroyed during World War II? And if so, does that make things more difficult to trace your family? So this is actually one of those things that is kind of the opposite of what a lot of people think, because a lot of records weren't, or not as many records were destroyed like people think. And quite the opposite, the Nazis created a lot of records. Now, in Eastern Europe, where there was the Holocaust by bullets, as it's called. The documentation is much less available, but it wasn't like they were going around destroying stuff. In fact, some of the cases where things were destroyed were cases where it was destruction of records to make it harder for the Nazis to control the population. So, as an example, going into our indexes, just to make one easy, I'm going to pull up what's known as the Bevolking registers. So they're the population registers. I'm going to turn this off so you can see what the actual names are. But then going by this, so we have Bevolking registers, and this Abraham Nunes Vas, this is my fourth great grandfather. And so the Bevolking registers are very similar to kind of a census record, except they keep track over time. So they're also similar to what's known as a revision list. So for anyone who has researched the Russian Empire records, revision lists are very common. And basically they just kind of keep track over time. So you can see all these names crossed out on the page, and those are all meaning that they moved away during that time that this was recorded. And then you can even see sometimes it'll say what happened. So here, Raphael, my third great grandfather, had gone to London. And it also says Gemet Robles, that's his wife, Reina Robles. But then you can see his brother Isaac also left, although he didn't go to London. He went to W288. And then you can see 29th May 1861 was when that happened, when he went to London, which is really cool because that's basically saying that's when he left, the 29th of May. And then we see May 1861 is when the brother moved out. So then 1861, lots of family moving out. But here's Reina Robles, the wife, moving to London. So they kept track of things. But the Nazis used these records, the Bevolking registers, to keep track of... all right, I'm not going to play the actual video, to keep track of the population. And I made a video, which I highly recommend watching, this one, Bombing the Bevolking Registers, which talks about how the Dutch resistance went and bombed these archives. And you can see the image there of the destruction to make it so that the Nazis could no longer use these records to control the population. It was actually successful in destroying enough so that there was a lot of stuff that the Nazis couldn't confirm with the population, and allowed them to get away with more. So yeah, I am catching a glimpse of the time. So I think we're going to be ending pretty soon. I'm just going to kind of finish up going through chat, and then we'll take a look. So let's see. Okay. So why don't you vlog and post these excursions? You're talking about the one to Europe. I'm writing the script for it right now. So, trying to do it in my style now, where I have the music and the other stuff in the background. And then the other thing is I need to get in touch with a lot of the cousins that were were part of the trip, and basically ask, hey, are you all right with me saying your name? Are you all right with me using your photo? What are you all right with me doing? Because I don't want to make any of my cousins uncomfortable because I'm putting stuff out there that they don't want. Oh, interesting note from Albert. Creator is not stillborn, it just means child. So, okay. So we would be looking at not a baby, but a child, I guess, possibly. But very, very interesting. So, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I think at this point, I know I didn't get that far in actually building anything out, but I think we got to talk about a lot of really interesting stuff. So thank you everyone for joining the live stream today. I'll be hopefully live streaming again on Tuesday on the Reaction channel, doing another Q&A, and then next week, I guess I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. And today was a very different tree building day than doing a lot of the celebrity stuff because it was very much outside of working in Ancestry. Granted, we did a little bit in Ancestry, but not a whole lot. So yeah, but I don't know. We'll figure out. If anyone has any ideas of what you'd like me to do, we'll see, and I'll probably put a poll out somewhere, either my Discord group or elsewhere. I don't know. We'll have to see. So yeah. But thank you very much, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. And yeah, I guess that's it. I never know how to sign off on these streams very well. It's easy with my channel. And I guess maybe I should do my old thing where back in the day, my old videos, if you watch them, I always end with, I'm the GeneaVlogger, I'm out. But I know that I need to be careful about that because people in the UK take that a different way. So, all right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.